be Adam Graham. Mr. Graham was convicted of raping 2 women in 2016 and 2019. One of his victims said, quote, "I told him to stop and he did not. He kept going. That's when I closed my eyes and let him do what he wanted to do." Now imagine just for a second that authorities decided to send this convicted male rapist to a female prison full of women. Total insanity, right? That'd be like sending a convicted nonce to do a motivational talk at a primary school. Well, you don't have to imagine it because it's actually happening. All thanks to Transmania. You see, Mr. Graham now identifies as Isla Bryson, and so is, in the eyes of the legal system, now a woman. According to Bryson, and let's not disrespect the pronouns of a convicted criminal lest they ban this video, she said she felt she was transgender since the age of 4, but just by coincidence only decided to identify as a woman after being caught violently raping 2 women with her penis. Despite this, the authorities, in their infinite wisdom of ensuring that the alphabet people don't get offended, still decided to send Isla to HMP Cornton Vale, a women's prison in Stirling. This all happened in Scotland, where the government just tried to pass a bill enabling children as young as 15 to begin the process of legally changing their gender. Under the law, they would only have to live as their new gender for 6 months, and then can legally apply to have it changed on their 16th birthday. Transmania.
Several years ago, I came out as pansexual and a trans man. It gets better. My mum convinced me not to share my transition with my child, and I didn't. I kept it quiet because they were young. A few years ago, he came out as a trans boy!
Wow, who could have seen that coming? The bill was so deranged, even the cucked Conservative government in Westminster blocked it, although Nicola Sturgeon has vowed to have that overturned in court. But it gets worse. The few rational people remaining in the Scottish Parliament tried to add an amendment to the bill that would have made it harder for sex offenders to fraudulently apply to change their legal gender, in order to avoid helping out convicted rapists like Adam Graham, and to prevent the legislation from being exploited by male predators to gain access to female spaces. But members of the Scottish Parliament, wait for it, voted it down. Yes, because apparently it's more important for people like Adam Graham, Isla Bryson, to be able to claim and have it legally recognised after 30 years of being a man that they're now a woman, than it is to not send convicted male rapists to female prisons full of women. LGBT activists who supported the legislation said attempts to stop convicted sex offenders from being able to change their gender were transphobic. The fact that sending a convicted rapist to a women's jail would be even considered shows how mad this has all become, said Susan Smith, a director with the For Women Scotland campaign group. Okay, transphobe. Note how the LGBT activists are not saying, no, these convicted criminals are just exploiting transgender identity to get more lenient treatment. This is nothing to do with us, don't conflate the two. They're not saying that. The LGBT activists are defending the right of the convicted criminal sex offenders to identify as transgender. Bryson told the court that she expects the taxpayer to foot the bill for transgender surgery on the NHS. She also revealed how, as a young child, she was, quote, always hanging about with the girls and always doing makeup. Obviously, Isla was a girly girl from an early age. I mean, what kind of female princess doesn't one day dream of getting a Mike Tyson face tattoo? Similar cases to that of Mr. Graham's, with convicted rapists claiming to be transgender to avoid being properly punished, abound. And yet the trans lobby continues to insist that their rights be protected. Transmania, it's a funny old world. Let's pause there for a word from the sponsor of this video. With economic headwinds looking more uncertain than ever before, it's never been more important to own physical gold. That's why I'm proud to have partnered with the Pure Gold Company, the UK's leading physical gold and silver brokerage. Ooh, shiny. They offer free delivery of physical gold, as well as insured, discounted, safe storage options in their London and Zurich vaults. Unlike some other companies, they're also happy to give you consultative advice on tax efficiency and market timing, as well as guidance on converting your physical pension to gold. And get this, the Pure Gold Company offers an extremely rare, unequivocal buyback guarantee. They've never bought back below the spot price, unlike the Royal Mint, which typically buys back at 4% under. The Pure Gold Company has been featured as thought leaders in Money Week, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, and numerous other publications. Take a look at their outstanding reviews on Trustpilot from existing customers.
Friendly, professional, trustworthy. I'd definitely work with them again without a hesitation.
I'm so glad I did what I did.
Get your money out of big banks and take control of your own wealth. Protect yourself from soaring inflation that continues to eat away at your savings by switching to physical gold bullion. Click the link in the description to get a preferential rate on the storage of your gold, which isn't available elsewhere. Discover market opportunities with Safe Haven Gold, courtesy of the Pure Gold Company. Now back to the video. Author J.K. Rowling, who has been plagued with death threats since standing up to the trans lobby, monstered by the alphabet people as a TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminist, drew attention to Scottish politicians attending a rally in support of their bill, standing in front of signs that said decapitate TERFs. She also highlighted the tweet of a trans activist who called for vehicular terror attacks against women's rights campaigners. So much for the tolerant left. Transmania uber alles.
Well, this is just lovely. I had a neighbor confront me for using the women's restroom. I lived here for 4.5 years. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman.
With protests outside drag queen events across the Western world increasing, armed left-wing radicals are showing up in bigger and bigger numbers to defend the cause.
Trans. Are we the baddies?
Another such event is set to take place in London, where the publicly funded Tate Gallery is set to host the founder of Drag Queen Storytime UK. Ada HD will be reading and performing for children not once, not twice, but 3 times across the day. The Tate website celebrates Dee as an ADHD, neurodivergent, queer hero of literature, theatre and children's entertainment, and the first drag artist in Europe to read stories to children in a nursery. Wow, what an achievement. Their website fails to include certain other details about Dee, real name Sab Samuel, including questions over his interesting choice of costume, as well as a petition signed by thousands of concerned parents, which draws attention to problematic social media posts, including a tweet that says love has no age. But more recently, Samuel's role in fundraising thousands of pounds for his recently deceased friend Darren Moore, a fellow drag queen. Moore was convicted of 4 counts of the rape of a boy under the age of 14. Despite being banned from interacting with children, Moore was subsequently caught working with youth as a gymnastics and dance tutor, for which he received another criminal sentence. Despite his past, the drag queen has appeared at RuPaul's DragCon event. He also represented British Airways at a Pride festival in Brighton in 2018. Audience members walked out of Moore's 2018 Pride Without Prejudice performance after he started making light of the behaviour of serial child abuser Jimmy Savile. Samuel praised Moore as an exuberant human being taken from the world too early, adding rest in power. Tate Gallery has yet to respond to the concerns of the thousands of people who signed the petition. Meanwhile, in California, a 17-year-old girl described what happened to her inside a YMCA locker room.
My name is Rebecca Phillips, and I'm 17 years old. I went to the gym to swim laps. As I was showering after my workout, I saw a naked male in the women's locker room. I immediately went back into the shower, terrified, and hid behind their flimsy excuse for a curtain until he was gone. I ran into a bathroom stall to change as quickly as I could, organizing my thoughts to share with the people at the front desk. As I did so, I could only think of my 5-year-old sister, who I bring to this gym during the summer to enjoy their water slides. This is the YMCA, where hundreds of children spend their summer afternoons in childcare camps.
YMCA responded by saying the biological male was free to shower where he pleased. A rally was then held outside the facility in support of the 17-year-old, and the individual accused of exposure then appeared at that rally, stating, quote, "I'm the scary transgender woman who that child misidentified as a man." I mean, what kind of bigot could have possibly made that mistake?
And now it's 100% water aerobics. That's what I do.
Then there's this story about a gay activist couple in Georgia, which is so horrific, I can't even bring myself to talk about it. If you want to learn more about that hellish abomination, Google the headline. Now I wonder, if any other kind of political movement was producing such stories, such characters, such behaviour, would major Western cities be blanketed with its flag? Would the daily architecture of our lives be turned over as a constant reminder of their cause? Would every major government, corporation and institution bend over backwards to amplify their agenda? Somehow, I really don't think so. Do you? Get early access to videos, exclusive live streams, and personally DM me. You've seen how much I get demonetized all the time. Well, this is how you support me. By subscribing at pauljosephwatson.locals.com.